With that, then, we will be pleased to hear your answer, Attorney Sagayo.
The question is whether, Mr. Chairman, I mentioned earlier that under the concession agreement 2.01, specifically Transco has no regulatory powers over NGCP.
Are you trying to say, Attorney Sagayo, that there is no basis at all for Transco to visit and inspect the system control of NGCP?
Mr. Chairman,
Is that your stand?
No, Mr. Chairman. As I've said, Mr. Chairman, earlier, they can always visit, but subject to certain
How about
protocols.
inspect?
No problem, but subject to
All right, so
certain
let me
protocols.
rephrase my question. Since the concession agreement in 2019, was there a time that the Transco inspected the system control of NGCP? Yes or no?
There was an instance. I think.
Iba po yung visit, iba po yung inspection.
Mr. Chair, if I may respond, may be recognized po. Mr. Chair.
Is attorney from NGCP?
Yes,
Can
Mr.
you
Chair.
answer the question?
As mentioned by Transco earlier, written into the concession agreement is an agreement by which Transco, together with PSOM, will form a committee for the purpose of inspecting both facilities and the books of NGCP, and that is conducted annually.
By facilities, does it include the system control? The system control, attorney, I hope you understand. Very
Mr. Chair, I will have
sophisticated.
to, I think that the intention of that, I have to go back and confirm which facilities are covered by the TR flat.
I
But
hope we
again-
confine our answer, Mr. Chair, to the question whether or not the system control was inspected. I think this is self-explanatory already. And by inspected, I wish to believe, hindi po yan basta tinititigan lang. You have to allow the party to touch, operate, test. That's how we inspect, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, may I amend my answer a little? Sorry, I'm just going to add a little. The ERC actually conducted a thorough cybersecurity audit of NGCP, including a VAPT. And that will, I think, address the concern, Mr. Chair, on not just looking visually, but also testing the ability of the systems to withstand.
Mr. Chair, was it the ERC which was mentioned by our lawyer from NGCP? So may we hear a confirmation from ERC?
Mr. Chair, yes, we were able to, the ERC through consultants were able to do cybersecurity audit on NGCP.
Were you able to
NGCP
rule
systems.
out the apprehension that this system control cannot be controlled remotely, especially those who are not Filipino citizens and outside our country? Were you able to rule that out?
No,
Yes or no?
no, Mr. Chair.
Because that is the danger that we are trying to avoid.
Mr. Chair.
Please let this representation continue. Likewise, Mr. Chair, in 2010, nag-issue din po ang DOE. This is Department Order Number DO 2010-08-0015, the title of which, Creating the Technical Working Group for the Audit of the National Grid Corporation System Operations and Metering Service Operations. However, based on reports, pagkatapos ng dalawang meeting, allegedly, the DOE was questioned already by the NGCP at hindi na po natuloy itong system audit ordered by number 0015. Can we hear from NGCP?
Mr. Chairman. Yeah.
Attorney Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our position had always been that under our concession agreement, it is the ERC that has regulatory powers over NGCP, and that is why ERC is conducting several audits already insofar as NGCP
Attorney
is concerned.
Sagayo, with all
Yes.
due respect, yes or no lang po, natuloy po ba yung system audit ng DOE?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Next
no.
question, Mr. Chair. In 2016, mayroon pong ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016. This is dated April 5, 2016. A resolution directing the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines to procure an independent party to conduct an independent review of its operation system as system operator. Tanong po, Attorney Sagayo, natuloy po ba ito? Independent party, yes or no?
Can we check that ERC resolution? This is the first time that I heard that, Mr. Chairman.
But at least you can state for a fact whether nagkaroon po ng independent party provided by ERC to conduct the system audit.
The ERC is conducting audit now on several fronts, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, since the answer of Attorney Sagayon is not completely responsive to the question, may I direct this question to ERC? Kayo po ba ay nag-engage ng independent party to conduct the system audit?
Not in the 2016 period, Mr.
In other
Chair.
words, Attorney Di Malanta, this ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016, was never realized.
That's what I was asking, Mr. Chair. That was before my time, but I understand it was not carried out either.
And Mr. Chair, to continue, 2017, nag-issue din po si DOE Secretary Alfonso Cusi, Department Circular Number DC 2017-12-0016, the title of which, Adopting the Guidelines for the Performance Assessment and Audit of All Power Generation, Transmission, and Distribution Systems and Facilities. Ito po ba'y natuloy, Attorney Di Malanta?
As far as I know, Mr. Chair, hindi rin po yan natuloy.
Having said all those, bakit po kaya hindi matuloy ang system audit ng NGCP?
Mr. Chair, for the record, the ERC was able to do a system audit in 2020, kailan po ba yan? 2022 po. Yung mga nabanggit po na resolutions, hindi po yun na-implement for various reasons. I think there were some hesitation or reluctance on the part of the auditee.
On the part of
NGCP po.
Do you confirm that hesitation and reluctance on the part of the NGCP?
Oh, which one? That we are reluctant.
Regarding the system audit, why this 2016 and 2017 orders of DOE, ERC were never pushed through?
Mr. Chairman, what we have been saying all along is it is the ERC that has regulatory powers over NGCP. And when it was ERC that ordered the audit of NGCP, we cooperated. Whatever documents that they required, we submitted.
Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, let me wind up on this. Since 2009, there's no system audit conducted which will rule out the apprehension that this system control of NGCP cannot be controlled remotely. Second, DOE Order Number 2010-080015 regarding the System Operation and Metering Service Operations Audit was never realized as well. ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016, concerning system audit was likewise not realized. And in 2017, DOE Secretary Circular Number 0016 was likewise not implemented. Mr. Chair, I'm stating a fact that since 2009, followed by 2010, and then 2016, and then 2017, there was never a system audit. The 2020 system audit that was shared to us by Attorney De Malanta, per her own admission, did not rule out the apprehension that this system of NGCP cannot be controlled remotely. Mr. Chair, with all due respect to my idol, Attorney Rufus Rodriguez.
Mr. Chairman, can I correct some of my answers? Sorry, with respect to...
Is that okay?
If okay with you.
Yes. Which particular answer do you want to correct?
Mr. Chairman, with respect to a third-party auditor, there was a risk assessment and vulnerability assessment and penetration testing in operational technology infra was conducted by NGCP's third-party auditor, KPMG.
When?
This was in August 2022.
Mr. Chair, the question is about ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016. These representation are manifesting facts which happened in 2010, in 2009, in 2016, and in 2017. And in conclusion, Mr. Chair, all the system audit mandated by various resolutions and circulars were never realized.
Mr. Chairman, I was mentioned as an idol. So may we know on what connection? By my idol also? One of the best performing members of the Quad Committee and also now here? What was it about? Because I also have to answer, the right to reply.
Mr. Chair, earlier, the Honorable Rodriguez manifested that the chairmanship of the board is allowed for foreign nationals. During his interpellation, it was likewise manifested that the chief technical officer was seemingly allowed by DOJ permits and other agencies' documentation. However, Mr. Chair, I am reminded by one important document that we are requesting from the NGCP, and that is the shareholders' agreement. I wish to humbly submit, Mr. Chair, that we will not be able to determine really whether the chairman exercised managerial and executive function and even the chief technical officer until and unless we see the shareholders' agreement. On this light, Mr. Chair, this representation humbly move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to NGCP for them to submit the shareholders' agreement to this committee. So move, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, in addition to the motion, Mr. Chair?
May I just make a clarification? There was a subpoena ducis tecum already issued to them in this regard. And their answer is there's another document I saw. Well, anyway, that I remember seeing that
I was present. I confirm that, Mr. Chairman. There was a subpoena issued on the
it
share
said here, signed by, sent January 22, signed by Cheryl Saldena de Leon, Corporate Secretary of Synergy Grid Development Philippines. We note that the first item under subpoena ducis tecum, the shareholders agreement among SGP, OTHI, and P21 does not exist. Thus, no such document is in SGP's records.
Mr. Chairman, what we are asking is not the shareholders' agreement between SGP and the NGCP. What we are asking is the shareholders' agreement between NGCP and the State Grid of China. Yung pong hinihingi natin is State Grid of China.
Okay.
Para malaman po
Okay,
natin.
so
kung,
there's a
doon po sa
motion.
agreement, Mr. Chairman, if I may. Para malaman lang po natin kung ano po nakalagay doon kung talagang kinokontrol ng Chinese yung kanilang pong
Okay.
maintenance
So
operation.
is that correct?
That will be agreeable, Mr. Chair.
Yes, so that's the motion.
I recall, Mr. Chair, that both the chairman and the chief technical officer are both stockholders. So I wish to see as well from that document what participation do they have with respect to the management of the NGCP.
Okay, subpoena dus tecum on the motion of the Honorable Jinky Luistro, duly seconded by the Honorable Rog Gutierrez. The chair, no objections. Motion is approved. We now proceed. You still have the floor.
Chairman,
Yes, Honorable Rufus
just like
Rodriguez.
to make some comments regarding the manifestation
Please.
of Congresswoman Luistro. It was stated that the NGCP, there was really no compliance of the order of the ERC and also sa DOE for the audit. Is that correct? Congresswoman, yes.
I believe,
Yeah.
Honorable Rodriguez, that I read the title of the
Yes.
circular and the resolutions
Yes.
which I mentioned.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Chairman, the ERC is the regulatory agency with all the powers to regulate NGCP. It's not a matter of they're not interested to have that implemented or the resistance, because it is the ERC who should have implemented it, whether they like it or not. It is not the fault of NGCP that there was nothing done, because you are the regulator. Is that correct, Ms. De Malanta?
That's correct.
Yeah, you are. So therefore, the
So,
fact that it continue is not the fault of NGCP. It is the ERC which has failed to implement it. And she was not yet the head at the time.
Chair Di Malanta,
Yeah.
please reply.
Mr. Chair, if I may reply. As recognized by the honorable representative, I am not able to explain why it was not implemented in 2016. But when a new performance assessment was organized by the DOE, and then we participated also because of the position of NGCP that only ERC is the one that they recognize. We participated and led the assessment, but still NGCP refused to provide those documents, and we have letters to show Mr. Chair that they refused. So, but we continued with the assessment.
Then you
Mr.
should
Chair.
direct them under pain of contempt and pain of penalty. That is how a regulatory agency would do.
We did, Mr. Chair.
If you are sleeping on the job, they have first a resistance and you will not insist. What kind of a regulatory agency are you? You have to do it.
Yes,
I'm
Mr.
glad that
Chair.
you are now there and you have already started that. And that is not their fault that 2016, 18, 19, 20, there was no systems audit because you did not insist. You have the full powers and yet you waive that power. So just that, Mr. Chairman, to put it in the proper perspective, it could have been done. And we wish it will be done during your term. And let them not resist it. Otherwise, you penalize them. That is the power of the ERC. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Much, Attorney Rufus
Mr. Chair,
Rodriguez. The Honorable Jinky,
I wish to wind up.
please.
The apprehensions that we are facing right now about having our national grid possibly controlled by foreign national is right before our eyes. While it is just an apprehension, this is a question that needs to be answered with absolute certainty. With our present situation in the West Philippine Sea, Mr. Chair, I hope the Filipino people are walking with me right now. Exclusive in an economic zone, which is exclusive for Filipino citizens, as confirmed by UNCLOS, as confirmed by the international arbitration. And yet we continue to be harassed, threatened, and even injured by foreign nationals right in our sovereign land. With this situation, will you have the peace of mind na ipagtiwala ang kaisa-isa mong national grid sa kaaway mo sa West Philippine Sea? Will you have the peace of mind that the national grid relies on these Chinese citizens who are maligning, harassing, threatening our fellow Filipinos? Will you have the peace of mind that no Filipinos understand this technology and only Chinese engineers do? Will you have the peace of mind that the technology can be controlled by somebody in Nanjing, leaving all of us helpless? All aspects of Filipinos' lives rely on electricity. Manufacturing, transportation, communication, you name it. What will happen to us if indeed this technology is under Chinese control and they decide to sabotage our country? I can be wrong. We can be wrong. But the question is, what if this apprehension is correct? My point, Mr. Chair, to NGCP, give us the concrete, tangible, apparent, and absolute reason to believe that our transmission grid is under Filipino control and never under the Chinese control. With that, Mr. Chair, I conclude. Maraming salamat po.
The Honorable Jinky Luistro for that very powerful manifestation. So the burden of proof, of course, is again with NGCP. So now we proceed.